Hey guys, Serena here. Just dropping in right at the top of the episode to remind you to follow us everywhere you get your podcasts, whether that's on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Hitting that subscribe button and sharing it with your friends helps us out a lot, helps the show keep growing, and gets me cool guests. I'm really stoked that you're here. I've known Liam for a long time, and he is such an interesting, funny guy. Check him out on tour and check out his special. It comes out tomorrow if you're listening to this the day that it drops. All of that, links, everything will be in the description wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening to this episode. Thanks again for checking us out. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm at ShutUpSerena. Make sure to follow him on Instagram, Liam J. Nelson, and follow the show, Short Story Long Pod, everywhere. Thanks. Bye.
Check.
Yep, that's working. Sweet.
Sweet.
Hello, welcome to Short Story Long with Serena Teal. I am Serena Teal. I have comedians tell me stories that they don't often get to tell. I am here today with Liam Nelson.
Hello.
That's you.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm saying I am here, but we're in your hotel room.
Yeah, thank you for having me to my hotel room. This is great. I'm so glad I get the chance to be here.
Yeah. Thanks so much for doing this.
No problem.
Liam, I have everybody start by kind of introducing themselves.
Yeah.
So what should we know about you?
I'm Liam Nelson. I'm a touring comedian, headlining clubs all over the country. I am featuring for Gianmarco Cerezi all over the world. It's been super fun.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else about me. I have Marfan syndrome. I'm disabled, so I talk a lot about disability in my comedy. And that's, I think, a pretty good short story description.
You're 7 feet tall.
Yeah, yes. Also, I'm 7 feet tall. I forgot to mention
You're
that.
in like a shorter chair,
Yeah.
so I feel like that's not really coming
no,
through.
Rena's just mogging me right now. Or sorry, Serena. I guess you go with Serena now, right?
I do go by Serena
Yeah.
now, which I guess brings me to how we know each other.
I know her from a different era.
So back in the day, I used to run a production company in Montana with my good friend Alex Kaufman.
Shout out Dustiest Golf.
Shout out Dustiest Golf. He changed his handle
Did
now
he?
too. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I know his handle.
How are people gonna remember it now?
I had somebody in New York walk up to me and be like, "Oh, like you're from Montana? Do you know Dusty Golf?" And I was like, "I do." As a matter of fact,
Yes.
That's my very good friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to run a production company together, and on the first ever run that we produced, we had a comedian named Kate Willett come out and do 4 shows with us, and Liam was the feature on those shows.
Yes.
And that would have been 2022.
So how did I get into that again? Because I think wasn't it supposed to be Dina Hashem was supposed to be doing the shows?
I think, yeah.
Because I didn't know Kate at the time. That's how I met Kate. So
Right.
it was like Dina Hashem is a friend of mine. I think she was doing that run.
Yeah, we were in talks with her. I
And
remember,
then that didn't work out.
Yeah.
But she recommended me to Kate to still keep on as the
Cool.
feature.
But you're connected to Montana. Your grandma lives there or
Yeah,
something?
my grandma lives out in Big Sky, so I was the first ever feature comic at Last Best Comedy. So like their first weekend, I just happened to be there,
Right.
and so I emailed them and got to be like, it was my first ever feature set on their opening weekend.
That's
so
awesome.
It was
Yeah.
got some real memories in Montana for
Yeah,
sure.
storied Montana comedy. But so Liam and I have known each other for several years.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed and moved over the years. I got to go back last August to headline all those same shows, which is cool.
It's cool to like connect with you again.
Yeah, right. It feels like a high school reunion.
Yeah.
Almost.
And we saw each other in New York a little bit. But yeah, how's your week?
It's good.
How's yours
Out in
going?
San Antonio, enjoying being here. It's my second time to San Antonio.
Okay.
First time for very different reasons than comedy, but I'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
It's kind of
A
I have
teaser.
my story is like it's a multi-part thing, but basically the core of it is for about 5 years. The person I spent the most time with in the entire world was the former puppeteer for Kermit the Frog.
Okay.
And we produced a show together, just the two of us in my studio.
Wow. So puppeteer, the person running
his
the
name's
puppet.
Steve Whitmire, shout out.
Okay.
Incredibly talented puppeteer. So he was 17 years old when he joined the Muppets and was recruited by like Carol Spinney, who was Big Bird, and Oscar the Grouch, who I also got to meet.
Okay.
And he was Rizzo the Rat, like originally, that's
Okay.
his character. Bean Bunny, a bunch of like other iconic Muppet characters. And then when Jim passed away, and a few other major Muppeteers passed away. He took over a bunch of the other characters, including Kermit. So he was
Wow.
Kermit for like your childhood.
Okay.
And then I met him randomly at like a film conference when I was 17.
Okay.
And he didn't realize I was 17 because I
Sure.
looked 25.
Because you're a giant.
The acne should have thrown him off, but I'm 7 feet tall.
Sure.
You know, I didn't have the beard yet, but the suspension of disbelief could have been there.
Right.
But yeah, we met randomly in line at like a film conference, and I was like, yeah, well, if you ever need help with any projects, and he'd just been let go from Disney because Disney's a corrupt giant corporation who loves to kill things that are loved and cared about.
Yeah.
He was like too difficult to work with.
Okay.
Which, if you know Steve, is like the most ridiculous
not
thing in the
your
world.
experience
I
with
mean,
him.
he worked with a teenager for years and taught me how to do everything puppetry production, and never once like lost his cool at me. So it's like there's
That's
no way.
awesome.
I can't imagine a world where he was difficult for them outside of just like fighting for the heart of the show. You know?
Sure. Do you think that he saw you as a puppet in any way, or like
He definitely, I think, appreciated the stature of
Yeah.
me. Like, there were a lot of things we did where it's like, oh, this will be perfect because you can dangle your arm way over this and then operate the head, and we
Sure.
don't have to have it in frame. Like,
It's like you're like a perfect like boom mic
well, because
apprentice.
with puppeteering, you work like
Yeah.
above your head. So like the only way to get even further, because Steve's like 6 foot something. And so, like, the only way to get all the way above the puppet is to have me do it.
Sure.
Or have someone on a ladder. So, it was, just me, Steve, and his wife, Melissa. When I was 17, we had, like, a meeting about a few different show ideas. And then it was kind of off from there. We started pitching a show to Adult Swim, which is what we ended up producing ourselves, called Cave In.
Okay.
Which is, like, an internet troll character.
Cool.
Who hosted a live stream where people called in and told them about the most miserable parts of their lives.
Okay. The opposite of this show.
Exactly. Yeah. Just straight good happy time stories on this one.
Not necessarily, but like stuff people are like excited to talk
Nice.
about.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Well, this is, I think, definitely counts. And so we started working on the show for Adult Swim, and then Adult Swim kind of ghosted us because they have been going through staff changes every like 3 years for the last 10
Holy
years.
shit.
So it's like it's crazy over there.
Wow.
So we ended up just being like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna produce it ourselves.
Sure.
I was working full time as like a videographer at the time and like
Sure.
doing high level like music video kind of stuff. So I had a studio with like a green screen and shit. And so he and I built out that studio into like a production space over the course of like several months. We built a cyc wall, a giant custom green screen. I mean, Steve is like one of the most concretely talented individuals I've ever met. Like, he can build an entire house, I think, if you give him enough time.
Sure.
And also build a puppet and also operate that puppet better than anyone else in the world.
Right.
Like, he's got a real specific skill set.
I've heard the term puppeteer before, but it's never before struck me how like making something that has just a flap like expressive
Yeah.
is like a
it's
real
magic.
skill.
It's
Yeah.
magic. I mean, it's like, you'll see it if you look at our old Cave-In episodes. He custom makes all the puppets that we used, and a lot of them are like an Eggo waffle with 2 spoons coming out of the side. But he somehow makes that look like a living creature. It's like just the way he knows how to like personify an inanimate object
Yeah.
is like truly. I mean, I remember I was sitting with my family in our living room because he's really close with my mom and dad as well, because my mom also works in like creative industry, and that's actually what he's doing now. But we'll get back to that later.
Cool.
We were all sitting in my living room, and he had these 2 characters called I won't say their names just in case this
Proprietary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might turn into a show, but he has these 2 like very southern characters.
Okay.
And he pulls them out of a box, and like he starts doing one, and it's like another person has entered the room.
Sure.
I mean, it's and his wife Melissa just kind of casually reaches over and starts operating the right hand, like, because you have an arm rod on the right hand,
Okay.
and then the puppeteer usually operates the left hand and the mouth and the head and then the body.
Oh, I
so
see.
you have a right hand
Yes,
puppeteer.
yeah.
So on a lot of the stuff we were doing together, I was his right hand puppeteer whenever Melissa wasn't available.
Sure.
But yeah, so just it's crazy to like watch it happen. I mean, so we worked on that show. I mean, he was one of it was my grandparents, my parents, and him and his wife came to my high school graduation.
Yeah, cool.
So Kermit got to see me graduate, which is cool.
Very cool. It's like a third set of parents.
Yeah, he was a real like mentor. I mean, we would spend like 3 or 4 days a month after all my friends had left for college.
Yeah.
I was the only one left in Atlanta, not going to school, just working full time.
Right.
And then I would take 2 or 3 days a month to just go into my studio and just make fucking puppet videos,
That's
because we
so
do
funny.
a
That's
pre-shot
so
like
funny.
mid-show piece,
Yeah.
which was like a crazy elaborate green screen thing that we'd edit, or he'd edit, He taught himself VFX and editing just
Cool.
to do the show.
Yeah.
And then we had the call-in element, which is like a monthly thing that we did for an hour.
Okay.
So
And the
it's like,
call-in part was real.
yeah, live call-in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Through Discord. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I when you first described it, I was imagining like scripted calls.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I
Wow.
wish they were scripted. No, I will never work in live broadcasting again because that shit sucks.
Well.
I mean, it is like,
When SNL calls, you might. Have
well,
something
not to be
different
the board operator. Like that's what I'm saying. I'll work as like an actor, but I like nah. I mean, I don't think I'm cut out for SNL anyway. I'm too specific to my own world
Sure.
as far as like what I like to talk about or like the things that matter to me. And I
Sure.
feel like topical shit doesn't get to disability very often.
Sure.
So it's like I'd be like, hey, and remember me, the disabled guy? Like it feels like they wouldn't love me over there.
Maybe. I don't know. It's
but yeah.
they certainly have a use for your stature, I think.
For like Barron Trump and who else?
I don't know. Like they used to do a lot more like characters built out though.
That's
like
true.
it's
That's
you
true.
know.
Do like a Dana Carvey kind of vibe to
Right.
it.
Yeah. So okay, so you met him at a film conference. Was that in Atlanta?
Yeah, in Atlanta called Terminus.
Okay.
I was 17 when we met.
Okay.
And then we started working together pretty regularly right before I graduated high school.
Okay.
And then all my friends left. We were working on that show for about 3 years. I was doing like music videos at the time, but we like consistently put out a show every month for
Cool.
3 years.
Yeah.
And then we had to end it whenever I moved to New York. But yeah, he was like a real mentor to me. I mean, it's crazy to just sit there and listen to stories about, you know, being a teenager on the set of Dark Crystal.
Totally.
Or like being like a 20-year-old in London with Jim Henson running
Right.
around having picnics and shit. Like
Yeah.
it's just the stories. I mean, he has like all this archival footage, some of which I've gotten to see, where it's like he has the last footage recorded of John Denver in the plane that he crashed and died in.
Whoa.
Like it's like John Denver turning around and waving at the camera.
Wow.
And like a few months later, he died crashing that same plane.
Wow.
Like this man is like, we go to like Comic-Cons, so this leads into why I
Yeah.
came to San Antonio. We would go to Comic-Cons together.
Okay.
I would go just like help him out. He signs autographs. That's kind of the main way he makes his money these days.
Of course.
Which is like, it's a huge industry. I mean, Comic-Cons, it's,
Yeah.
you know, you get like some real heavy hitters from like nostalgia worlds
Totally.
out there. So we did a bunch of Comic-Cons together. It's so funny going to the cons with him because he's like almost the biggest celebrity there.
Yeah.
But he's not according to like the general populace, but every one of these bigger stars melts as soon as they meet
Totally.
Kermit the Frog. They're like, wait,
Yeah.
like I remember I watched Luke Cage, the guy who plays Luke Cage,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
and be like, dude, oh my god, like, it was crazy getting to like, he's like secretly the most important guy in this
Yeah.
room because he's such an integral. He's like Ernie too for
Right.
years. Like,
yeah, cool. Well, I was thinking about how like when you were talking about him walking around in London with Jim Henson and
Yeah.
how like Jim Henson is like so famous, such a household name, and
Yeah.
yet I could not describe him to you. Like it's like this
Yeah.
very like surreptitious fame to
Yeah.
sort of the general populace, but then like people who know what Jim Henson looks like would
Yeah.
like be mobbing him, you know?
Yeah.
And like there's something so interesting about being such an icon of entertainment and
Yeah.
yet invisible.
So, crazy
Like-
story about that specifically. Last time I came to San Antonio was because I was working on a documentary about having Marfan syndrome, the disability that I have, and it's a big public online rumor that Peter Mayhew, the guy who plays Chewbacca, had Marfan syndrome.
Okay.
So Steve was doing Alamo City Comic Con, and I was like, great, Peter's going to be there. You guys are friends. You can introduce me.
Sure.
Awesome. I flew down to Texas. I got here. Peter was there. I walk over to his booth. I'm like, hey, man, nice to meet you. I'd love to do an interview. He's like, great. Let's do it a little later this afternoon. So we do the interview. I get him over into like a little side. It's just I pull him off into like a little side hallway.
Sure.
It's going to be like a 10-minute interview because
Yeah.
we're on the con floor. So
Totally.
it's like I don't really have. It's just like him doing a favor for Steve.
Right.
I'm like, yeah. So I'm like still setting up the camera. I haven't even set it all up yet. I'm like, man, it's so cool to meet someone who's done so much while having Marfan syndrome. And he's like, oh, I don't have Marfan syndrome. And I'm like, oh, what do you have? And he says, pituitary gigantism, totally different disability,
Sure.
has
Okay.
nothing to do with mine. So I go, oh, sorry to waste your time. Pick up the camera, leave. Don't even start recording.
What?
He dies 3 months later.
No.
So now all these Marfan forums are like, oh, Peter Mayhew had Marfan syndrome. And I made the mistake of telling one person who's like a community leader in the Marfan forum that I found out from his mouth that he doesn't have that. And now I get tagged every time someone's like, Peter Mayhew has that. It's like, Liam is here to ruin the day.
Liam, go off.
Nope, come spoil it, Liam. It's like, we could have kept him, like,
Sure.
we didn't need to debunk this.
Well, what about the poor pituitary gigantism
Exactly.
kids?
He did write a whole children's book about it. So it's like, I feel like it's like, it would be disrespectful to like try to co-opt him as like a figure for a different disability.
People don't just tag the children's book. They have to bring you into the...
Yeah, right? That's what I was going to start doing. Just like buy a copy of that book to send to everyone who... Yeah, it's unfortunate. So at that point, I'm like, well, fuck, I'm in Texas for nothing, and I'm 19, so I don't have the money to be in Texas for nothing.
Sure.
So I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just going to try to have fun, I guess.
At Comic-Con?
Oh, yeah. And not just at Comic-Con, in the celebrity area of Comic-Con.
Right, yeah.
So I'm just like... Steve's group that he ends up like kind of assembling, a lot of them are from his management, a lot of them from like a friendly management company, but we end up there's this big group of people. I meet Brett Ewan, who's the voice of Mickey Mouse.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And so the first night, Brett and he doesn't know I'm 19 at the time, we go out for drinks. I hear a lot about his love life and just like what's going on. He's a very nice guy. We became very good friends. But just like to go out for drinks with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
No one knows who the fuck this guy is.
Totally.
One of the most prolific characters in the world.
Biggest
like literally
icons,
the most iconic character in the world.
Right.
He voices Mickey for everything. No one knows who he is at all. Now he does art for Disney, so he's like becoming a little bit more of a prominent figure.
Sure.
But so that was the first night. Second night, Steve and his group of friends all get together and we all go out for barbecue. So the list was there's a guy who played Batman, Batman the Animated Series, Poison Ivy from Batman the Animated Series, Lauren Lester who plays Nightwing on Batman the Animated Series.
90s Batman.
Yeah, like the really popular animated Batman show.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. There was Boo from Monsters Inc. was there. Her dad was one of the animators, so she just is still making money off of being a character when she was 3, which is wild. I mean, she is still signing autographs for a 3-year-old version of herself.
Does it look like her?
No.
Okay.
Not even kinda.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to... I have a picture, actually. Sorry, a picture up real quick.
That would just be a funny thing to be like, you kind of look like Boo from...
Yeah, it's funny that she doesn't look like the character at all, because like you would think that if her dad's the animator and he's using her voice, like might as well use the kid too.
He would, like just sort of end up basing it off her facial expressions.
Nope, it's she has blonde hair.
Okay.
Let me find this photo real quick. Here it is. All right, so there's Mickey Mouse. That's Poison Ivy. Goofy. How could I forget Bill? Bill, Goofy.
Okay.
His wife. There's Steve. Their management. There's Boo from Monsters Inc.
Oh yeah, the youngest one there.
That's Poison Ivy.
Oh wow.
That's Nightwing. And then Kevin, I guess, was taking the picture, but he's Batman.
Okay.
Kevin Christopher. So yeah, it was just like there's this table who are all there to sign autographs at this Comic-Con and get, make their whole living off of people knowing who they are in that specific environment.
Right.
We all go out to a barbecue restaurant. Someone comes over and asks Bill, who's Goofy, to take a picture of them with me. And I'm just like, the whole time, everyone's like, oh, you guys know this guy, this tall guy? You guys know this tall guy? They're all talking to this entire table of some of the most famous voice acting talent in the world.
And like,
and
nobody's
like, hey, they're pretty fucking tall. Isn't that cool? Like, you guys know the tall guy? Yeah, exactly. So it was just like crazy how much more they cared about just a tall guy. I'm like, I wish you knew who is sitting at this, who you just asked to take a picture of me. Like, I mean, this is your whole childhood right here, dog. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, that was my last time I came to San Antonio. I also, that same night, we took a van back to like the hotel they have all the talent up in. And
is it a Disney resort?
No, there are no Disney resorts in San Antonio. It's not a place where maybe Galveston, the beach area. But no, we all take a van back to the hotel, and a bunch of it's like all the celebrities, but they all have been out drinking. And I hear from the back, it's fucking Freddy Krueger giving us like a guided tour of San Antonio drunkenly from the back seat. Robert England's back there just like, yeah, well, last time I was here, this place wasn't here and this place was here. And, I don't quite get why they moved this one over here. Just like talking about like why restaurants are different places loud enough to where no one else can have a conversation. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, just like that whole world. I like going and popping in on those Comic-Cons sometimes just because like you walk in and you're like, oh, what a weird assortment.
Yeah.
Of like, it's like a charcuterie board of random nostalgic celebrities.
Well, those things center around nerd culture, and
for sure.
Nerds are so good at like that sort of micro fame.
Nerds are the best audience to have.
Totally.
Because they engage with you the quickest and the most like devoutly.
Vociferously, yeah.
Like I think, I mean, not to speak on Itoro John Marco, his people, they're not like they tend to be like kind of theater nerd type people, and they're like consistently some of the best audience members you can have because they love comedy. They are so excited to be there. It's their first time coming to live comedy, so they're like, and they know about theater, so they know like theater etiquette generally.
Yeah.
And then they save up for 2 months to buy all of the merch in the world.
Sure.
They're like, oh, this is all my bedroom decorations now.
Yeah.
So they really like latch on, which is nice.
You get a lot of first timers at John Marco shows.
That's
interesting.
Oh yeah. I think a big thing is like he exists online, and so a lot of his audience is like they love him from his online presence. And so especially like he did Dropout recently, so that's a whole new. I noticed last night a bunch of people found him from Dropout. So and that's an even younger, more online audience. So it's I think it's just people who've like never felt inclined to go to a comedy club, because like if you think about it, like I grew up loving comedy and like going to comedy shows with my family, but like if you didn't, I could see not wanting to engage with stand-up as like an art form.
Well, especially with its like current reputation of being a little bit
I know so many people being like, yeah, I would go to a comedy show, but I don't want to get like made fun of.
You don't want to get made fun of.
That's not all of them. Like you come to my show, I will not make fun of you unless you say a weird answer for why you know Marfan syndrome.
All right.
But even then it's like lighthearted.
Well, yeah, it's I've noticed a lot of like empty front rows, or like people won't sit themselves in the front row, or the people who do are people you don't want up
and it
there.
super sucks when you're an early headliner when you only have enough people to fill the front row, and none of them are in the front row. They're all just scattered throughout this venue, and you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do comedy for you two and you two and you three. No mass of people at all. The one time I got a whole we had 9 people come out to a show in Raleigh, which ended up being a super fun show because we got the entire group to all sit in the front row. And we just pretended like there was a bunch of people behind them. And we kind of played off that. I was like, all right, guys, and as you know, like there's a full crowd behind you, so don't turn back because they disappear. But
well, it always feels better when you have that, like when you're all sitting together too. Like you have to have that coalescence.
Well, because you don't get the laughter otherwise. If people are like kind of off in their own areas, it gives them permission to kind of just breathe out loudly through their nose instead of actually laughing. That's the biggest curse that we face, I think, as stand-up comics, is the fact that like you don't have to laugh when you ingest internet content. Like not a lot of people laugh out loud when they're watching stand-up through social media, which is the most people consume it. So it's you're like fighting with the natural inclination to just be like
I acknowledge that. Well, okay, so you said that you had several stories that kind of lead into each other.
I mean, that was pretty much it. I'll do one more just since we're here.
Sure.
This one's not related, but this is like a new story I've been telling on stage that I think is fun. So, you've done mushrooms. Yeah. Have you done mushrooms in public? Have you done mushrooms in public?
It's not my preference, but I have.
Yeah. Have you done mushrooms in public while being 7 feet tall?
Not once.
It's not a good time. It's not a good time. I'll tell you that. The worst part of doing psychedelics in public is you feel like everyone's staring at you.
Totally.
And they are. They are staring at me. They're definitely staring at me, even if I wasn't on mushrooms.
Sure.
The moment I knew I never wanted to do mushrooms in like a public place again was when I went to a music festival when I was like 20 called Afropunk.
Okay.
Which,
fun.
If you can tell by the name, one of maybe 4 white people
in
the entire place.
And you stick out.
And, oh yeah, boy do I. And I was on mushrooms because I was like, I'm seeing Anderson .Paak. I want to see if mushrooms will make it more fun.
Sure.
And it did for a bit.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the crowd having a good time, dancing. And then
You in the middle of a crowd is like got to be infuriating for the entire column of people behind you.
I'm like a truck on the highway. I'm like a log truck on the highway. You know what I mean? There's just a big ass area empty behind me.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to get fucking Final Destination by my elbow. I have accidentally given someone a black eye one time with my elbow, and that was a terrible day.
Yeah. When we met up in New York, we ran into a woman who was like 5 feet tall, or like 4'10", and there's a picture of you with your elbow just resting on her head.
It's my go-to photo pose.
Yeah.
I do that one a lot.
Just the full breadth.
If I'm in a group picture, it's them all holding me horizontally. I did that. That was my prom pictures. It was me being held horizontally by all 10 of my friends.
25 people, yeah.
But yeah, so this time I decided to go to Afropunk on mushrooms.
Yeah.
In the middle of the crowd, having a good time. Middle of the concert, he's like, "Man, you guys are killing it. You're all dancing. Even that white boy's dancing." And he points at me. He fully points. And then I look around and I see the entire crowd. And I went through the same emotions as that couple at the Coldplay concert. I was like, oh no. And I just sat down. He goes, oh, where'd he go?
You sat down, you're still visible. That's fucking crazy.
Luckily, I think I was still visible to the people who were around me, being like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, and then at that point, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. They've all seen me now. Which, like, I don't know why I wasn't supposed to be there, but like, I think the artist pointing me out was like, well, clearly he was telling me to get the fuck out of here.
You stand out, you stick out, you're no belong.
Because like it is, it's Afropunk. This is not for me. And so being called out by the artist, I'm like, yeah, me acknowledging my presence here, maybe I shouldn't be here. Yeah. So my plan was to crawl through people's legs
100%
backwards.
The most inconspicuous you can be.
It's like a 500 person crowd. I'm like,
and people dancing.
Yeah, people dancing.
And these are people who can dance. So.
I'm about 100 people deep from the front in this crowd. So I got about 400 people's worth of legs to crawl through. So I'm crawling and just apologizing. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just like keep moving.
What were you wearing? Do you remember?
It was like a fun concert. Probably something similar to this. Like a fun, open shirt. It was probably like a tie-dye shirt if I had to guess.
Okay.
And
so you're getting dirty.
Super dirty. Super duper dirty. I think I probably had to throw away my pants. And then I'm crawling. And to me, I'm like, oh, I'm apologizing for brushing their legs. To them, it feels like I'm apologizing for slavery. Like I'm just a groveling white man crawling through the crowd of Afropunk. It feels like
You're certainly apologizing for like invading their space.
Like, the reparations exhibit at Afropunk. Like, yeah, step on me if you want. Like, I should be sorry.
Well,
like,
especially to be called out by the guy you're there to see. That's tough.
Well, just like I was just so in the zone, and then all of a sudden, I just was so being watched by everyone, and like. It's happened before where like I'll do something to like draw attention, and then I'll notice people continue to look back to me throughout the interaction. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be able to get through any more of this concert without the entire rest of the crowd watching me. Yeah. Because earlier that day, I already had kind of like a warning incident where I was at a different show, Smino, and the dudes in front of me, they were taking a Snapchat video, and I noticed at one point they're taking a Snapchat video of my face, and they're right in front of me, so I can read what they're typing. And I goes, this dude looks like he's having no fun at all. So for the rest of Smino, I'm just like, this is great.
Trying to visibly
I'm so glad that I'm here. And thank you, Afropunk, for allowing me, a white man, to be here. This was like the most aware of everything I could be doing I've ever been. It was not a good choice.
Rough. That's awesome. Okay, so Steve, sorry, what is his last name?
Whitmire.
Steve Whitmire.
Yes.
That was like kind of what you wanted to talk about. So like, why do you feel like you don't get to talk about that part of your life very often?
Because it's not super comedy related.
Sure.
It's like, I mean, it's comedy adjacent. I ended up playing like a sidekick character who was like a British robot on the show at one point while also operating the show. So I was like, had a headset on, like doing, like riffing while also managing everything.
Riffing in an accent while also managing.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Going through a voice modulator in an accent is crazy. An accent I can barely do.
Right.
so it's like it's not super comedy. Like, I mean, it's a comedy show, but it doesn't make sense in like the stand-up world
Right.
as much. And it's just something that like I loved being in that show. I learned a lot on that show. I
Yeah.
think it kept me going for 3 years. It gave me something to like kind of really get excited about. It
Yeah.
gave definitely for Steve. It was like what helped transition him from Disney to like his own projects.
Yeah.
It was a good like first swing at something. And we had a good like audience who loved it. But I don't know, it's just like this thing that I find myself forgetting about.
Yeah.
And each one has like a couple thousand views, so it's nothing that a ton of people have seen.
Right.
But it's just crazy that we made stuff for 3 years and that's all just like sitting out there.
Yeah.
Like we have this whole Star Wars / Star Trek parody that my friend Isaac, who was my business partner at the time, he's an incredibly talented VFX artist and did some of the most complex and insane like VFX work on that random puppet video
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
did. It took him like 4 months.
Yeah.
And it's just like is on YouTube, just like being seen by a couple thousand people.
Yeah.
So I just any chance I get to like talk about it more, and I think just also the facet of like him coming to my graduation.
Totally.
He was just like such a major part of my life, and so to wrap up his kind of story, he's now working with my parents. They have a show called Mirth and Mischief, which is like an immersive theater like
Cool.
castle show. So he's not just building, but designing and like managing their puppetry for that. So
Cool.
he built like a giant dragon on the turret of a castle that's
Cool.
operated by like 2 guys.
Yeah.
He got to build like a talking wall puppet that's like robotically operated.
Sick.
And like a little gnome guy who lives in like a tree stump where the guy's like hidden in the tree stump operating him. So it's like he's working on stuff now that he's really passionate about, which
Yeah.
is cool. And it's with my family. So
That's awesome.
it's nice to I didn't have to leave him kind of high and dry when I moved to New York. 'Cause That's
Totally.
why we canceled the show. Is like, I was moving to New
got
York
to
and
the time, yeah.
it just felt like a good time to kind of like let
Yeah.
it, tie up. And so we essentially killed off Weldon, the character, on the show.
Oh.
He ends up getting like, he's
Don't
like,
spoil it.
sorry, he ends up being too nice. And then they kill him.
An incel fairy tale.
I mean, they don't kill him, but he has to like hide in space. They've done a
Okay.
couple like reunion episodes, but they've been at Comic Cons and the Comic Cons have been running them, so they just haven't really like.
Sure.
I wasn't there to like make sure it actually ran well, so
Yeah.
we don't really do those anymore. But
Sure.
yeah,
How do you feel like that? Like, do you feel like you have skills as a performer because of?
definitely. I think
Gotcha.
just the whole experience, like being around him for that long, like someone who took that much initiative with
Mm-hmm.
his own creative projects. I think like his willingness to like, oh, you want to do a studio? Cool. Well, I'll build out the studio if we can like use it for free for the show.
Yeah.
Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Just that like willingness to just like, I mean, I've never seen someone who like is willing to put in as many physical hours as he is on
Sure.
like a creative project that will net him zero money.
Right.
Like, I mean, the show did not make him a dime. It only cost him lunch every day we'd shoot.
Sure.
And it just was like, he still would put like all of his heart into it every
Yeah.
time. So it's like, I think it's more like learning from him. And this was like a project that he wanted to do that I also like felt like I could be a good like complimentary
Yeah.
kind of producer for. I think I could definitely step in to be a right hand puppeteer if
Sure.
ever needed, which is a skill that I don't think I'll need. But
Do you feel like it's changed how you use your body on stage at all?
a
Or,
little
like,
bit, yeah.
okay.
I think I'm a little bit more intentional. I think I'm a little bit more like the core concepts of puppetry, like keeping the eyes like locked in whenever you operate the mouth. Like you do that instead of like just that, because you keep the eyes like locked onto the person. So just like little things where it's like,
Oh, sure.
whenever I'm doing an act out, the eye contact's very important. So I have an act out where I'm like, I lean in and I look to the left, I say one thing, I look to the right, I say another thing. It works way better when I do it that way versus if I just say the 2 lines.
Sure.
So it's just like those little bits. And I think that's also working with John Marco is like he's very theatrical and
Sure,
physical on
yeah.
stage and very intentional with all of his physicality.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to do a little bit just to keep up, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, I think Steve definitely helped teach me how to just really like do it 100%.
Right. Well, the idea of using like something inanimate to connect, right?
Yeah.
Like being unable to take your eyes off of a puppet, something you know is like not physically like alive.
Yeah.
It's like being able to do that and learning how to make that happen would necessarily like give you more performance skills, right? Like that's so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill. It's like a more of an abstract skill, but it
Yeah.
definitely, I think I use it in certain ways.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that ethic of putting your creative energy into stuff that only pays creative dividends, how has that like impacted you?
I mean, It's definitely like the heart surgery special I have coming out
Mhm.
October 1st. I did not make any money from that and
Sure.
will not. I am only going to lose money to produce it, but it's like that's a thing where like I found out I was getting open heart surgery and I decided just told myself like, hey, I want to do a comedy special about open heart
Totally.
surgery as soon as I can after the operation,
Yeah.
which I ended up doing it like 3 weeks post-op. I've always been that way of like, oh, set my mind to it, do it. But being around someone for 3 years who consistently showed that like it's possible to do it and like did it with such a high level of like expertise and
Yeah.
skill and like finesse, like he really like he didn't just make do. He made the best version of whatever he could make
Sure.
for the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like I think it encouraged me to take a leap like that to do a comedy. It's now like a half-hour special all about like heart surgery material that I wrote within the 3 weeks before I filmed it after having open heart surgery. So it's if I had been with someone for those 3 years who was a little bit more like, well, let's see if we get budget first, and
Sure.
then we'll like I would have been much more like, because that was the other side of what I was working on when I was working with Steve, is I was working in like film and video. And I was a producer, so I was all about like, oh, do we have budget for this? Like,
Sure.
can we make this happen? Like, if we don't have budget, it's not worth it. Like,
Sure.
that was my whole mind. Is like, oh, well, like I'll take a pay cut. Is all me taking a pay cut. But if the budget's not there, we shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take $100 for 4 days of my time. But it was a good influence to have in that
Yeah.
time when I was like really participating in an industry that ran me kind of ragged. You
Sure.
know?
Yeah. That's like kind of a seamless way to start talking about your
There you go.
special that you have coming out.
What can I say? I got transitions. Yeah.
Very smooth.
Very excited. In Stitches coming out October 1st on YouTube, probably. I'm 99% sure on YouTube. I don't imagine it will go anywhere else, but unless YouTube gets mad at me, but I don't think they should.
This is coming out the day before that. So by that
It'll
point,
be
we'll
it'll be
know.
on YouTube,
And
or
I'll have links
it'll
for
be
you.
on
I'll certainly have links for you.
yeah
wherever
Liam
it
Nelson
is.
Comedy on YouTube. Check it out. It'll be a fun little half-hour special of pretty much nothing you've seen me, or actually nothing you've seen me do anywhere online, or if you've come to a show. So check it out.
And where else can people find you if they want to come see you live?
LiamNelsonComedy.com. Social media, Liam J. Nelson, Liam Nelson Comedy, all across the platforms. So I will be headlining in Savannah, Des Moines, Madison, Milwaukee, Chicago, Kansas City, maybe Denver, probably. Des Moines, I already said that one. Columbus, I don't know if I said that one. And then, yeah, that's it for the rest of the year. Probably more places. Check it out, LiamNelsonComedy.com. They'll all be on there at some point.
He'll update his website
I will.
at some
I
point.
will. I should do that.
You can also find him in the crowd at Afropunk.
Freaking out.
He'll be,
Just freaking out.
he'll be 7 feet tall or sitting on the ground apologizing for slavery in a tie-dye shirt, which is a crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for listening to Short Story Long with Serena Teal. I'm Serena Teal. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And please do that. Like, subscribe, share. You know that it helps. Please leave reviews, whatever you're doing. I'm Serena Teal. You can find me at shutupserena, shut.up.serena, or at serenateal.com. That's THIEL. Thank you so much for listening. Love you, mean it. Bye.